Spider-Man, a Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves, or just flies.
Spider-Man Homecoming. What a fantastic movie. God, I mean, it's got so many thrills, chills, a surprisingly large amount of kills, and so much more great family fun, said Chicago Tribune writer Flynn Guntherson, and I agree too. God, it's got me so hyped up and energized. I want to play a great Spider-Man game. But Insomniac's game is still years away. God, what's a boy to do? It's gonna take a very specific Spider-Man game to scratch this itch. Jarvis, load up the Avengers files. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm incredibly poor. And that doesn't exist. Oh well. Activate super fun go-go action time hyper legs! Yeah! Alright. Let's see here.
One pair of pants later.
Sucks, there's not really any good movie tie-in games anymore. Oh sure, there's lots of crappy mobile tie-in games that star Marvel characters and have Homecoming outfits and Homecoming levels, but no dedicated Spider-Man Homecoming game. God, I just want to play an amazing Spider-Man game.
Is somebody in need of a hero?
No, I'm fine. Thanks for the what the... So you're saying the Infinity Gauntlet broke apart and it sent your consciousness to another dimension and put your soul into the body of this little stuffed plush thing. The only way for me to return you home is to review a Spider-Man movie game. Is that what you're saying? What a totally believable plot that I didn't needlessly make up for the plot of the video.
I mean, I was a pig once, and Dr. Ock put his soul into my body just to have sex with Mary Jane. So it was a usual Tuesday for me.
Well, what Spider-Man game can I talk about? The internet's already talked to death about how amazing Spider-Man 2 is, and to be honest, the rest of them kind of suck spider eggs.
No, there is another.
How about the amazing Spider-Man movie tie-in game?
How are you doing that?
Deadpool.
So here's the thing. I really hated the Amazing Spider-Man franchise when it was first announced. I was super butthurt about the fact that they were going to do a reboot so soon after Spider-Man 3, and I didn't like how they were going for a, quote, realistic tone, and just the more they talked about it, the more I thought this franchise was going to suck and be awful. But then I actually saw the movie, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic and a different take than what came before. It was so amazing, in fact, I was willing to give the game and Beanox a second chance. I mean, it went back to the open world style that made Spider-Man 2 so amazing, and Beanox did make the amazing Shattered Dimension, so maybe there was a chance that Edge of Tomorrow was just a fluke.
Look man, I'm both a street-level vigilante, but also take place in space-level context, because of marketing! I'm only one man, I can't be super 24/7.
You're not Superman, you know.
Fine, baby. We'll start with the good parts, just so you don't cry. How about the fact that the game actually has a legitimately good story? Oh, I don't mean in a, like, it tried kind of way, or it's good, all things considering. No, I think it has a really good, really interesting story that I would actually love to see a movie or even, like, a TV show about. It does the best job of representing what made the movie so amazing, while still having its own unique, interesting story. So something a lot of movie games do, so they're not burdened by the plot of the movie, is to try and be direct sequels to them. By doing this, it allows them to craft their own unique story. But the problem is, a lot of the time they're often so outlandish or have no connection to the original, it really only feels like a sequel in aesthetics only. Amazing Spider-Man, however, smartly uses the themes and the character relationships from the first movie as a springboard. It doesn't feel like a spin-off or a what-if story, it actually feels like the next step for the story. To be fair, the downside is it does spoil a fair bit of the movie, but not as much as you would think. While they do spoil certain moments, it's only out of passing and not main plot points, such as how can we trust them or blankety blank is dead because of them. The game does a good job of not copying the movie verbatim, but having the best moments from the movie. So at certain points, it definitely does feel like you're playing the movie while still being an original, unique story. Honestly, if I had one complaint, it's that it's not canon. Especially considering where the game and the movie both went in terms of the sequel, I thought this was the far more interesting take for the franchise to go, and the one that made more logical sense. The game tells the story of how Oscorp has picked up Dr. Connor's works on cross-species mutations. The awesome thing is this lets villains like the Scorpion and Rhino exist within this universe and somewhat make sense. Well, at least more sense than the stupid metal suits. So Peter enlists the help of Dr. Connors to help him discover what purpose Oscorp has for these mutants, and if they can work together to stop whatever fiendish plans they have before it's too late. Now, doesn't that sound like a better movie than Jamie Foxx playing an obsessed nerd? I mean, a cat's licking its own asshole for 2 hours would have made a better movie, but I digress. The point is, the game was able to capture the realistic, grounded, gritty tone the film was going for.
All species detected. Engage.
Sort of well. Well, though that does offer a good jumping off point because, as you saw, this game has a great sense of verticality. Yeah, there are a lot of levels that take place inside office buildings and inside of sewers, but for the most part, they smartly chose to have a majority of the boss battles take place in the outside in the big open environments. Plenty of games have nailed the feeling of swinging through the city, but this is the first game I can think of that makes great use of the 3D space. A lot of the bosses are huge towering robots which you can totally swing around and underneath and climb all over. One of the later bosses even shoots out these little robots in which you have to use the momentum of the buildings to launch yourself into the sky and shoot them as you freefall. How I wish I could say the rest of the game was that creative.
Look, great artists are never understood in their times.
By no means am I saying the game is bad, but it really doesn't show that level of creativity beyond the boss fights. Looking at the game for about 5 seconds, you can instantly tell that it's a blatant ripoff of the Arkham Asylum series. But I mean, if you're gonna rip off someone, you might as well rip off the best.
When I was 11 years old, my whole world was video games. Just locked in my room playing Bart versus the Space Mutants and all this crap. I mean, I wasted all my time on this shit.
Oh my gosh! Somebody else remembers 52! Oh.
We're done with that joke! Stop! No more! Enough!
Never got the whole glasses thing. Ooh, next you're gonna tell me all you need is a hat and a trench coat.
Just like in Batman, you fight enemies while using the spider sounds to counter. There's also Predator-type missions where you sneak around in the shadows to stealthily take down enemies. And they have light, extremely light puzzles by taking pictures of things. While not as good as it is in the other games, weaker upgrades, no gadgets, it's still just as fun to build your combo and climb on the ceiling to silently take out enemies. However, one thing I do like that compared to the Batman games is the fact that they have these buildings which act as challenge rooms. And if you beat them, that's how you unlock the upgrade. It doesn't change the whole dynamic of the game, but it does make it feel that much more special when you earn an upgrade as opposed to just getting it throughout the story. It's kind of annoying that first you have to beat the room to unlock the upgrade, then gain more experience to buy the actual upgrade, as opposed to you getting the upgrade for beating the room in the first place. Come on, Spidey, you must have a bunch of different gadgets from your various adventures that would make excellent gameplay additions.
Well, I mean, besides the car and the motorcycle, my utility belt holds the spider trackers. There's a spider light. I have noise-canceling headphones. The Cryo Cube 3000. Freeze capsules. There's the spider UV light, so I can look for clues. And when I was taken over by the soul of Doc Ock, he made these tiny little spider bots to perform surveillance.
You really want to be Batman, don't you?
It's a complicated relationship.
Still, all that aside, one of the biggest complaints I have with this game is just how empty the city really feels. Oh sure, it looks and feels like New York City. I mean, you've got all the major landmarks like Times Square and Central Park, But when you go to the street level, you notice a lot of repeating stores and NPCs. Throughout the story, you see a lot of different locations like the Oscorp buildings, asylums, sewers, but when you're swinging through the city, fighting thugs, it all kind of just blends together. The problem is there isn't really that much to do in the open world. They all basically just boil down to collect this or fight this enemy and then rinse and repeat. Well, there is one thing though that makes the open world a blast to explore and look around in. No, not all the cool costumes. No, not the fact that the collectibles are actual comic book pages which you can review later in the menu. And the fact that there's actual storyline and plot woven between them all as opposed to just a bunch of sporadic concept art. Alright, and the fact that there's a whole crap ton of hidden Easter eggs clearly showing your love for the franchise. No, besides all that, Bruce motherfucking Campbell.
Groovy.
What I did before the session is I went out and I just jumped off a building because, you know, I'm a method actor. I don't know if you know that. And I felt it was just important to get ready for that, to get ready for the challenge. Could I do the same things that I'm asking Spider-Man to do? And the answer is no, I hurt myself quite badly.
Sure, at the end of the day, this game borrows a lot from other games like Spider-Man 2 and the Arkham series. But the key thing is, at the end of the day, it's still always fun. Even after 100% in the game, I still wanted 1 or 2 more hours, just a little bit more. And I don't think I can give it any more praise than that. If you like the movie, you'll absolutely love the storyline they set up. And if you love the Arkham series, this is a worthy competitor. But most importantly, if you're a Spider-Man fan, you will love all the hidden costumes, in-jokes, Bruce Campbell cameos, and overall love the developers clearly have for Spider-Man. The game goes to show that movie games don't have to be quick tie-ins, and that if a developer has a lot of time and passion, it can make something just as entertaining as a new franchise. Just don't play the sequel, it kind of ruins the whole point I'm trying to go for.
So basically your whole crux for recommending this game is that it doesn't suck. It's not good, it's just not as horrible as it could have been.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever, works for me.
I really need to think of better ways to end videos.
Insisted I focus on bats instead of reptiles for some reason.
No Batman out there, Doc. That's just ridiculous. There is a rat, though. And that rhymes, anyway. I don't